Hi, friends. Okay, this is the last story that Jesus put together. There's three stories about being lost. Do you remember what that special name for the story is called? Right, a parable. So this is the third parable that Jesus is giving all at one time, just like I'm doing for you to share. So we're in Luke chapter 15, verse 11. It says, Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.'" So think of this like a savings account. Maybe mommy and daddy started a savings account for you. And when you get old enough and you grow up and you're ready to use that money, your mommy and daddy will say, "Okay, here's your money now." Well, he wanted it now. He wanted it before he was old enough for it. Okay, so I want you to understand what's happening. So there's two brothers. So the older brother might even be ready, but would the younger brother be ready yet? No, he's not ready for it yet, but he's asking, "Hey, can I have it now? Can I have my part?" And maybe mommy or daddy would say yes or no, but we're going to hear what Jesus is talking about in his story. In Jesus's story, the dad said, "Okay." So he divided his property between the 2 sons. So not long after that, the younger son got together all that he had and set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. So, oh my goodness. So this younger son said, "Can I have my money? Okay, bye." And then decided to leave the house. And then he just went and wasted his money. Squandered is another word for wasting. So maybe if this was something that happened today, maybe he went and bought like 1,000 video games, and he bought a whole bunch of cars, or he used all his money for silly things, not things that you really need. What are things that you need to live? Right. A house, that's a good one. Clothes, good. Do you need like all the expensive clothes and fancy? Does he need to have a crown and a big robe? No, just regular clothes. Yep, those are things you need. Good. Food, right. So, should he go out to eat every night and get the big giant table and say, hum, 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 hum? No, don't do that, right? Did his parents save that money so that he would just go and waste it? No, right. So let's keep listening. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he began to be in need. Oh boy, do you remember what a famine means? Does a famine mean a lot of things are growing or not a lot of things are growing? Right, not a lot of things are growing. Now, we have to remember, did Jesus have Walmart? No. Did Jesus have Acme? No. Did Jesus have Target? No. So a long time ago, and we still have farmers today. That's what they had to do. They had to grow their own food, and they had a big farm, and that's what people did. So if the ground wasn't working, they couldn't go get cookies. They couldn't go get some potato chips. They had to get things that grew from the ground. Those kinds of things weren't necessarily invented yet like they are today. They couldn't go say, that's all right, because did they even have a refrigerator back then either? No. So they couldn't fill their refrigerators up with like Go-Gurts and applesauce and milk, things like that. They couldn't do that. So a famine meant that things aren't growing and it's a big problem. Now, what would have been better? Right, if he had saved his money, because then when the famine came, he wouldn't be in big trouble. But guess what? Now he's in trouble. He used up all his money, and now there's a famine. Now he really needs his money, but he doesn't have any left. Let's keep listening. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. Oh my goodness. Now he's feeding pigs. Why couldn't he just go back to his own house, right? Ay, ay, ay. And let's keep listening. So he longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. That means that he was so hungry, he would have wanted to eat what the pigs were eating. Ooh, would you want to eat what the pigs are eating? No, but if you were really hungry, you might say, oh, that looks good. So let's keep listening to what happens now. When he came to his senses, what does that mean? Right, he's like, duh. Now he's like, he realizes what he did this whole time. He said, how many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like your hired servants. So he has to admit he did something wrong, doesn't he? Yeah. All right. Well, he got up and he went, and he had to walk. Remember, did they have cars back then? No. Trains? No. Bus? No. So as far as he had walked was the same amount that he had to walk back home. And he's walking. And he's walking. If you've heard me tell this story, you could pretend to do this at home. One of you can stand like down the driveway, or one of you and one of you can stand at the front door. Well, your driveway probably won't be as long as this story's driveway, but just imagine that inside the house is the mommy and the daddy and the older brother, right? And then outside the house, now you have to think like long past your driveway, like, whoa, and they're in the house, and the dad is looking out the window, and he sees somebody coming. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. Do you know what compassion means? Compassion means that he forgives his son. He's not still mad at him. He's not like, oh, here he comes. Now he's coming. Oh, okay. No, he's not giving any attitude. He's not being mad. He's got compassion. He realizes, oh, I miss my son and I forgive him and I love him so much. And that's what he does. And he says he ran to his son. So one of you can pretend to run from the front door all the way down the driveway. And whoever's pretending to be the youngest brother can pretend to be the youngest brother. And he threw his arms around him and he kissed him and hugged him. And he was so happy, right? The son said to him, just like he practiced, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his fingers, a finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. Now, we know that the youngest son wasn't dead, but when you're missing for so long and his mommy and daddy missed him so bad, it almost felt like that in their heart. So that's what they're saying when they say those words. Now, the older brother, oh boy. Now imagine, you did the right thing. You listened to your mommy and daddy. You didn't ask to have your money early. You didn't go waste your money. Well, he's kind of got an attitude. He's kind of annoyed right now. And he became angry and refused to go in to the party for his younger brother. So his father went out and pleaded with him, but he answered his father, Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, he didn't even say, my brother, he's saying this son of yours, that's how mad he is. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property and comes home and kill the fattened calf for him. My son, the father said, You are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we have to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead. Remember, not really dead, and alive again. He was lost and is found. So just like in the first story, when the missing sheep got found, the shepherd celebrated. In the second story, the woman lost her coin and celebrated. And now in this story, which is the hardest of them all, the son who ran away and wasted money and came back home. But Jesus is saying, is God and Jesus going to say, oh, well, that's too bad. You should have been listening this whole time. Are they going to be like the younger brother, or the older brother, I mean? Like, this isn't fair. Are they going to say that? No, there's going to be rejoicing and celebrating, and the angels, and there's going to be so much of a party because someone, whoever they are, says, I'm sorry, Jesus. I'm sorry, God. I made mistakes. I want to believe now. I want to listen now. So remember, in the beginning of the story, all those tax collectors, Jesus was talking to them. Don't worry. Sure, you've made mistakes, but now, today, at this moment, if you decide to, you can turn around and start following me and start following God and start making those right choices, right? Right. So don't worry. Everyone gets lost sometimes. Even Miss Andrea, right? We all make mistakes, okay? But Jesus, when he's in your heart, he's going to forgive you, and he's going to understand that you didn't mean it, okay? I love you. God loves you. Mommy loves you. Daddy loves you. Brother loves you. Sister loves you. All right? Air hugs. Ooh.